Lieben, Glauben, Globen.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Finished Podcast. Your host, Sean Lazarus, once again. Special guest today, Smilen Sam Alvey. Mr. Sam Alvey, what is going on, my friend?
Oh, chilling like a villain, just getting ready for the next one, whenever that is.
Yeah, so speaking of getting ready for the next one, what is the next one, man? Because we heard, when you beat John Vellante, we heard the call out, and then, we heard there was some personal issues with Corey and everything like that. And have you thought about anybody else? Have you figured anything else out, or?
No, not yet. The UFC's, they're on it. They'll find the best matchup ever for me, and hopefully it'll be end of September. It'd be wonderful. Maybe a trip to Brazil.
Really? Whatever happened to the thing with Shogun? Whatever happened with that?
I never got the chance to fight Shogun, so it just never happened. I think he's fighting the Lionheart right now, Anthony Lionheart Smith.
Yeah. So what do you think about with everything that's gone on, especially this past weekend, man? It's just so crazy. Obviously it's a big change for the heavyweight division with Cormier beating Stipe and everything like that. But it also kind of, affects you because it also kind of maybe slightly ties up the light heavyweight division. What's your thoughts on everything that kind of happened this past weekend?
Honestly, I'm a few wins away from a title anyways. So I don't know how much it affected me. It was a fun fight. It was a fun build-up. And good on DC for winning. But as far as me getting to the title or clearing it up, I don't know. Likely all that means is I'm never going to fight DC.
Well, it'd be a fun fight, man, because like you said, you're that explosive. What do you call it on your UFC profile? You're the you're the fight of the night kind of style. Is the style you have, so it definitely be interesting.
You've always got the threat of the knockout with me, and shoot, I've even submitted a few cats too.
Yes, you have. So, what do you think about the, and I hate to even ask because I'm sure it's asked 1,000 times to 1,000 different people, but I think it's just a fascinating topic. Is what do you think about Brock Lesnar and the whole WWE-ish kind of shenanigans that happened in the octagon?
Honestly, I think it's rough on Curtis Blades, who I think is the only one that could argue for a title. But honestly, it makes more money. It gets more eyes on the UFC. So bottom line is, I kind of hope that I get to fight on whatever card it is that Curtis Blades or that Brock Lesnar and DC match up at.
I agree with you 1,000%. Matter of fact, I just did a video where I was talking about that, and Curtis he's literally right there in the mix, and I'd love to see it, if the DC Lesnar fight does happen, which I'm pretty sure it is. I'll tell you what I'd love to see as co-main. I'd love to see Blades and Stipe possibly co-main that card. And the winner of that possibly goes on the fight. It's laughable, Lesnar beating DC, but goes to fight DC possibly, or maybe even once DC beats Lesnar. I don't know if we'll see too many more heavyweight title defenses out of him. Because of that.
Yeah. I think he's got Lesnar in him, and then he retires. So I don't know what you'd expect. I don't know if you'd want to see Stipe versus Curtis Blades for a not title fight, or if you just let DC beat up Lesnar and then Curtis versus Stipe be the next one for the title.
Well, yeah, actually, that does make a lot of sense. What do you think about as far as the? I guess we talked about it before last time I had you on, and we kind of talked about the whole money fight. How money fights are really starting to get big, and it's the ranking system is really just a. The ranking system is there, and they use it very loosely. How does it make you feel that people really just are jumping lines, and it's more or less a popularity contest? And I know that question really isn't anything new, but what are your thoughts on that?
It doesn't bother me at all. It's a business. Their job is to make money. It's my job to win. Is how part of my job, but to make people want to watch me fight is another part of my job. And neither is more important than the other. You need them both. If you don't have them both, then you don't get lined up for the super fights. And you use whatever non-title fights you're given to try and build that fan base, to try and get people to want to see you fight that guy, like DC just did.
Right.
DC didn't deserve that super fight until now, and now he's the double champ.
Do you think it's more important, and coming from you, last year weren't you were definitely the person that fought the most last year, right? Coming from you, do you think it's more important to have kind of like a volume of fights to kind of get your name more out there, or do you think it's more important to kind of pick the right fight, so to speak?
I was a big fan of just throw yourself out there as much as possible, be that guy that everybody knows because you're constantly fighting. I think it worked real well for me. But then you look at someone like Conor McGregor, who went the other way. He just, he had, I say easy fights, and I don't mean easy fights. I just mean he went from fighting Dennis Seaver to fighting for a title.
Right.
But he took advantage of every second he got in that spotlight, and he became a champion.
Well, what are your thoughts on Conor with everything that's going on now, and him possibly fighting Khabib or whoever, because there's 1,000 different rumors every day. Something else new pops up. That's what he's going to be doing. What are your thoughts on him?
I don't think Conor's ever going to fight again. He's proven everything he needs to. I've never been a huge Conor fan. Power to him, he is what he is. I always thought he was overrated, and I kept getting proved wrong. But again, I'm in the camp where I think Khabib walks through him. One thing you can't really argue about Conor is he quit in that Diaz fight, the first one. Even the second one, he spent half the fight running away from him.
Yeah.
And I think Khabib would take him down. I think it would come down to Conor would have to land that one big punch, and Khabib would have to eat it. But I don't think it would be enough to put Khabib down. Khabib would get the takedown and just destroy him. So I don't think that fight would ever happen because I think it hurts Conor. He gets some money, but honestly, he has more money than he's ever going to need right now.
Do you think, I guess while you're talking about it, you think that it's worth the risk for... So obviously Khabib is a pressure fighter. Conor's more of a counterpuncher, okay? But he's more like... He's a little bit different counterpuncher. Like, he kind of stays on the inside and kind of, slips it real close. You think it's worth it for Khabib to try to eat some shots coming in for the takedown possibly in order to, secure something? Do you think it'd be worth it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Khabib wouldn't have to change anything about his style. I think he would get that takedown and just murder Conor from there. There's never been like a better kind of sort of ground and pounder than Khabib, and he would just make life miserable for Conor every second of that fight. Whisper in his ear, it's like, just give up. It's my time. It's my time.
Yeah.
Like he's done to 3 or 4 other guys.
You've been all over the place, man. I've been watching you the last few weeks, man. You're at 225 in the crowd, right? You're at 226. You're on the Unfiltered podcast. You're all over the place, dude. What's it like? The past month or so, it seems like you've just kind of been bouncing all over the place. What's been going on with you?
Well, I fought and I won, so that gives me a little money to fuel my adventures. But
sure.
The next week was Father's Day, so I surprised my dad. I flew into town and took my dad and my brother and I took Dad to the UFC.
Oh, cool.
Chicago. Then came home and just been working out and getting ready for the next one. And last week I actually went out to Vegas to get licensed with George Lockhart, so I'm a certified nutritionist through him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I took all of his classes, helped some guys cut some weight, and now I'm just out living life and loving training.
Are you kind of setting yourself up for kind of a post-fight career, possibly with the nutritionist kind of thing, and maybe even help fighters?
That'd be great. Right now I coach a lot. I run my amateur team at Dan Henderson's gym. I help the pros. I got done teaching the pro class today. So I coach a lot and I go everywhere with it. And as long as that helps me fight, and I feel or fight well, and I believe it does. I'm gonna keep doing it, and this nutrition little background and how to do it a little better, a little safer will only help me.
You mentioned you're not quite sure who you're gonna face next, but I have to imagine. I'm guessing if it would have went down exactly the way you wanted, like with facing Corey, let's say you beat Corey, that would put you around. Well, yeah, I think he's 9, 8 or 9, something like that. I don't know, something around there. That'd probably put you in top 10, and then maybe you're only like, 2 fights away from possibly title contention after that.
Yeah, probably something like that.
Yeah.
I just gotta keep fighting, keep winning. I get my hands on Gustafsson eventually, and then a belt probably shortly after that.
That'd be interesting. You and Gus, man, that'd definitely be interesting. I mean, is that something that you're talking about? Because I know Gus is fighting. Oh man, he's fighting Volkov, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that is. And I figured Gus was going to win that, and he's going to get back on Twitter and start crying about more title fights and stuff. And
yeah.
So yeah, if that fight happens, but I mean, I'm number 15 now. He's number 1, so I've got time to worry about that fight.
So I was looking at kind of like your Instagram and your Twitters and stuff, and you were looks like you were hanging out with. Speaking of Curtis Blades from earlier, you were hanging out with Curtis at the fights. What were his thoughts? There live at the show. And yours too. Like, what were your thoughts there live at the show? Like I said, with the whole, Brock Lesnar kind of jumping the line, and it kind of more or less UFC kind of. It kind of crapped on Curtis a little bit, with kind of jumping the line. I get it. I understand it's just business. It's about the money. It's about the ratings. It's about pay-per-view buys. I get it. I think we all kind of understand it. But, Curtis is on a tear here, and I don't want to see that momentum get slowed down, by him having to wait for who knows however long it's going to take to get that kind of top fight, because I definitely don't want to see him fight down. Right. I guess what are his thoughts on everything? I'm sure you guys probably talked about it.
You know what? We kind of saw Brock Lesnar standing up, in the crowd. We started, hey, what's Lesnar doing? All of a sudden, he's real visible. And so we say, hey, if he goes up in that cage, follow him. Just get up there too. And he was too good a dude to do that. But it was fun seeing in slow motion, we knew Brock Lesnar was getting up there.
Right. And
we all kind of knew what that meant, especially after that fight with Ngannou and Lewis was so bad. We knew immediately that he was the number 1 contender. He said after that fight that you're the number 1 contender. And then to watch Lesnar go up there, it was a bummer, but we'll see what happens.
What was the inside of the arena crowd reaction of that Ngannou Lewis fight, man? I mean, I know watching at home, it was just so loud. The crowd was almost louder than the commentators. I can only imagine what it was like, in person.
Crowd was going nuts, and they had their phone lights up, and they were waving that for a bit.
Yeah.
And then we had the wave started up. We did the wave 3 times around or 4 times around the arena.
Oh, wow.
The crowd wanted to cheer. They wanted so badly for this to be a good fight. That they were. I mean, anytime somebody took a step forwards, they were screaming, and then nothing would happen. And so they were very disappointed, but. Me and the crowd, we found a way to entertain ourselves.
So, Ortega and Holloway, match got scrapped. What are your thoughts on as far as what do you think should happen next? As far as Ortega's been talking about possibly even, of course, they're throwing out interim titles like candy bars here lately. But what do you think about him saying that he thinks Holloway should possibly either be stripped or they fight for an interim title, because they're talking about Holloway might be out for, 6 months to a year now. They're still trying to figure out what went wrong with him, and what are your thoughts on that situation? I guess just in general, maybe not so much pertaining to that division, but what are your thoughts on when champions kind of get held up, what are your thoughts on the length of time it should be to either vacate the title or make an interim title?
I really don't know. I think it could be a case to case. Like I think Woodley, I don't think that was grounds for an interim title. He had an injury. And
I agree.
Just defended like 4 times in a year or something.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, I think that was a mistake to make that an interim belt. Especially with whatever injury, he wasn't going to be off that long. But then, like Holloway, I think find out what's wrong first. Find out what happened. If he might be healthy right now, I really don't know. So yeah, I would say find out what happened first, how long he's gonna be down for sure, and then go from there.
What's your prediction on Jones coming back? Does he fight DC, and does he beat him?
I don't think that fight happens again, and I think DC would be dumb to have it happen again. People already talked about how he beat DC twice, even though the second time he cheated. I would say, like, if I walked into an octagon with a baseball bat, that is what John Jones did. He cheated. DC didn't lose. He got beat by a cheater. So I think it would. I don't think DC ever fights Jones again. And I don't think he should. I think he's proven enough. He's more than earned that belt. 2 belts now by himself. I don't think he ever has to worry about Jones again.
Well, man, Sam, I'd like to see you. I'd like to see you kind of get your own deal, man. Like, you have an awesome personality. I'd like to see you get your own deal and get your own show, get your own podcast. I tell you what, no, seriously, I mean, not just because you're on. With the chemistry with you and Matt, Sarah, and everything like that, like, it was really cool. You guys have really cool chemistry. Like, his kind of New Jersey, New York kind of attitude, then you're kind of your super niceness and your knowledge, man. It's just it was a really cool combination. So, really enjoy. I wish there would have been more time because I know, like, it got split up between him and the other guy, and
Norton.
Yeah, Norton, Jim Norton.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun doing the cast. I like the guys. I think they like me. And, honestly, the reaction I've been having from Twitter from being on it was great. So hopefully they'll have me back.
Maybe a third member of the Unfiltered podcast, right?
I think I live on the wrong side of the country, but that would be great.
They don't film in like Vegas or California?
No, they live out in New York.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yeah,
wow.
They're New York boys. This one just worked out because they were both out for fight week, so they were still in town. That was Norton had to leave a little early to catch a plane back to Jersey.
Okay.
New York.
Okay, cool. All right, man. Well, look, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know we had some technical difficulties earlier, and like I said, I'm sorry about that. But hopefully it won't happen again. I got a couple more to do today, but anyway, man, it was awesome talking to you as always. It was you're just a pleasure to talk to, and like I said, awesome personality, and I definitely want to talk to you again. As soon as you find out, your next fight, I'd love to get you back on again and kind of talk about it. So
sign me up. Well, whenever you want me, just let me know. I'll be here.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate that. You're always easy to get a hold of, and I really appreciate that. But anyways, guys, this is Smilen, Sam Alvey. Please check him out on Twitter. Please go check out that Unfiltered podcast. I know technically they're kind of competition, but it was a great show. And like I said, Sam Alvey just killed it. So, all right, Sam, take it easy, buddy.
Catch you later, my man.
All right, my man. Have a good one. Hey, guys, if you enjoyed the show, please don't forget to check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. Send me a message. I'm going to scroll up here like long walks on the beach. I don't know. You never know. And please, for you audiophiles out there, we're on iTunes, we're on Google Play. Don't forget to like, share, follow, and subscribe to us. Helps us out a ton.